Alderman Halloran.
Here.
Alderman Lewis.
Here.
Alderman Morante.
Here.
Alderman Mizan.
Here.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Here.
Alderman Sarwar.
Yeah.
Alderman Trombley.
Here.
Alderman Walker.
Here.
Alderman Wolf.
Here. I take Alder.
President DiPietro.
Here.
All present.
Thank you, Jerry. Can I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the December 15th meeting and place them on file? Can I have an introduction, please?
Duan.
And a second, please.
Okay, I'll second.
Calvin. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any council member opposed? The motion carries. Committee reports or copies are on your desks. May I have a motion and a second? First of all, can I have an introduction to
I'll make it.
Calvin? Can I have a second?
A second. Welcome.
Malachi? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries. We have 3 communications. Let's see. One you saw last week. The city clerk was submitting a record of the annual completion training report for the planning board and zoning board members. Shaheen, can you post the second communication? Shaheen? There we go. Well, that's the first one. Can you post the second one? Should be, yeah, there it is. Can you shrink your screen? You're kind of coming through large. There you go. And scroll down. This is really technical, and it's just the governor allowing taxes to be paid later and assessments, let's see. Dispensing with the renewal applications, even though we have a resolution that makes it easier for people to do that. So you might want to take a look at that in your spare time. Can I have an introduction to accept the communications? Or should say to receive the communications?
Calvin, I'll make a motion.
Calvin. Thank you, Calvin.
I'll second.
That is Jane, I believe. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Now, Shaheen, can I see the list of bills, please? Excuse me. There you go. Oop, can you shrink that? Do a little more. There you go. So let's look over this. Any questions?
Tom, who is the Springbrook Holding Company?
They have one of our contracts, I believe. Sherry, do you know that information offhand?
I'm grabbing the bill out of the file.
Thank you.
It has to do with KVS, which is our billing system.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And him and Straub, what attorneys are they associated with?
Wait, let me
What
see.
what project?
Hinman Straub. Oh, those,
That's the labor attorneys.
right.
Ah. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Anything else?
What about Passport Labs? Is that a,
That has to do with parking tickets.
oh, yeah, I could save you some money there.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Anything else? Okay, can I have an introduction, please?
I'll make an introduction.
Calvin. A second, please.
Oh, I'll second it.
Thank you, Jane. A roll call vote, please, Sherry.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Thank you, Sherry. The first resolution, please, Shaheem. Okay, this was introduced last week. Can I have a roll call vote, please, Sherry?
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Moranti,
I'm sorry, Tom, I'm on the phone. I went through the resolution. What number are we voting on?
Number one, the Commissioner of Deeds.
Okay, thank you. Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Malachi?
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Thank you. Next resolution. You saw this last week, and we are very grateful to Results Refrigeration and Orfeo LLC, as well as Linda Friedner and Seth Rogaboy. Can I have a roll call vote, please, Sherry?
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Alderman Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next personal services account transfers. This was approved introduced last week. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye. Sorry.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Thank you. As discussed last week and introduced, Can I have a roll call vote, please?
This is,
Alderman
this is Eileen. Could I just ask a question?
Sure.
Will this position continue even after the grant funds are fully used?
Uh,
Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
The intention is that funding will be provided from the grant for the first year and then in diminishing amounts as it goes forward, and with funds found from elsewhere, including state funds, grant funds, all manner of funds. That's the intention.
Hmm. So
Okay,
this
oh.
person, yeah, the city will have an obligation for benefits and retirement, et cetera, after the funds are gone. We'll have to find that.
I suppose it depends on how the contract is set up. I mean, if it's a contract position and it has a, I mean, I guess maybe, so what this resolution is about is simply to create a position and to describe the position.
Mhm.
So,
Right, I'm just thinking about once the grant funds are gone, is this something the city will have to budget for? And I think from what you're saying, the answer is yes.
well, I think the real answer is that, it's not unusual for a position to be funded by a grant and to not be able to continue if funding isn't found for that position. So I think that's maybe a better way to look at it.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
So we're not committing to funding this
No.
afterwards. We're just committing for the grant, for the position to be
You can't,
created and the
think
grant
about
funded.
this. You can't fund something, everything's funded annually, I mean, with the budget. So you can't commit, I mean, come on.
Also, I just want to point out Michael Schmida's had his hand raised, I think.
Oh, I can't see the hand, so.
I just took it down. I was going to say the same thing, is that I think the hope is that the position would last and that funds would be found, but there's no legal obligation to keep the position beyond the funding of the grant. There's no in perpetuity clause to something like this, in that you can always remove a position. And certainly other governments, including Columbia County, frequently create positions for a grant, and then when the grant runs out, end a position. So that is certainly a possibility, and that's a road we can cross in the future.
Right, and people who would accept those positions probably are familiar with the process and know that it might all dry up at some point.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Fully support this. Aye.
Alderman Holleran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye,
carried.
thank you, Sherry. The next resolution. So I'm not sure if this is, let's see. Yeah, this just affirms what was in the governor's,
This effectuates what the the emergency proclamation was, executive order.
right. So roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye. So you're saying this resolution goes with what we introduced in the beginning?
Right, it's just, right.
Thank you.
Holleran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Thank you. Next up. There was one question remaining from last week about whether this Muni Res actually gives you a price, a total of the actual amount that for each of the vendors they monitor. They do not. Of course, that would be almost impossible to do. What they do that the existing plan doesn't do is that they can give us a complete, what they call a complete scrub of all the websites, and also give us how many days a short-term rental provider has rented out their building, their property.
I'll also just add, if I may, that unlike most companies that provide compliance services, they have a review board that's actual people who monitor the sites and who review the data and compare and contrast and actually assess, listings. And that's a major selling point of this company over most of the other ones that we. And I'll just to explain a little bit, there was a thorough process that we went through as a committee, an ad hoc committee, to assess what company would be appropriate for this. And we settled on this company because of a variety of services that it does. And the company that is employed currently by the city to do tax collection did not actually provide this service at the time. They have just started to provide this service, and they don't have, so this company, not this exact service, I see Tom's face. I mean, they do what they say is compliance, which, covers, I mean, you could call a lot of things compliance. And so that's why this company has been selected.
Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Tom, can I
Alderman Guerrero?
ask just
Sorry.
a couple questions? 'Cause I didn't get a chance to connect with Mike
I'm ready.
or Rebecca.
With who?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm
Was
sorry,
this
what'd you say,
introduced
Tiffany?
last week?
Okay, never mind, go
I
ahead.
was asking, was this introduced last week?
I'm not following.
Yes, we talked about this at the last week.
Yes, we did. Sorry. Okay, it seems like
Just
we're
making
ready
sure.
for a roll call vote then.
Alderman Garriga.
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Moranti,
I'm going to abstain because I didn't have enough information that I had some questions for at this time.
okay, thank you. Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay, we're moving on to the new resolutions, of which we have quite a few. Most of them are pretty simple. Well, Jeff, I don't think, does someone have to recuse themselves from a resolution like this?
Hang on a minute.
Yes.
Yeah. How could someone?
It's just about maintaining records.
Well, just maintaining records, I don't think it really,
Yeah,
it's not a discretionary issue, really. It's just
Right.
something you're going to be doing.
right. Okay, so this is so that Malachi can sign up for retirement. Can I have an introduction, please?
I'll introduce it.
Rebecca. And a second, please.
I'll second it.
Jane. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Yeah, I'm gonna need this when I retire in 10 years, so yeah. aye.
Wolf. President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay. The next one, please. I believe it's, where are you? Public Works. Oh, no, sorry, this one here. This is a transfer within the fire department funds. Nothing controversial here. Unless somebody wants to discuss it. I don't see any hands. So let's have a roll call vote, please.
Introduction in a second.
Oh, sorry. An introduction, please.
Calvin, I'll introduce.
Calvin. A second, please.
Eileen, I'll second.
Thank you, Eileen. Roll call vote now, please, Sherry.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
These are a number of transfers in DPW and in for the sewer fund as well. Any questions or?
I do have just a question. What is septage revenue? Like
Where
where,
are-
what is the revenue of septage?
Where?
There
Oh,
there are
so-
firms,
Oh, go ahead, Eileen. I'll let you answer.
yep, there are firms who
Pay it.
bring their septage to the sewage treatment plant and they pay the city for that service.
Wow. Okay, so the city sewer system
Take
process
money.
outside sewage?
Correct.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
But as you probably know, that money can only be used within
Right.
sewer budget.
Right.
Okay, an introduction, please.
I'm sorry, Calvin. I'll make an introduction.
The second, please.
I'll second.
That is Jane.
Yep.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
The 15,000 for street maintenance is for what exactly again? The
It's going to, let's see, it's going to snow removal. It's going to materials for the park, but mainly to lighting expenses. It looks like.
and I guess we're still in the winter. Well, we may have another snowstorm.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Did you vote?
was that an aye? Was that an aye?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, aye.
Alderman Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
It's the next. This is the resolution to hire Delaware Engineering. This is at the Front Street Pump Station. It's a grant. And this just, so that the city can issue an RFP to get it designed.
What's a pump station?
You know that? Oh, somebody have a better answer? Oh, Eileen, go ahead.
It is that building you see down by the small parking lot, and it's just another treatment point.
For sewage.
This isn't for an RFP, Tom. They've already done the RFP.
I'm sorry, not for the RFP. You're right. It's for the,
For awarding the.
oh, right.
recognizing,
I'm
right.
sorry. You're right. For the firm who's going to do it. Sorry. You're right.
I just want to say, before we just that I really am excited to see that the city placed strong emphasis on utilizing minority and or women-owned business enterprises in their bidding process. That's pretty. I haven't seen that happening before, but it's very.
Actually, it happens often in our bidding process.
I never have noticed that being mentioned in the RFP, though.
Is this particular firm, Delaware Engineering, a minority or woman-owned business? Did someone from that category win this award?
I mean, it says that this was
It says so here that they are, yeah.
well, no, it says that they provided a meaningful commitment to utilization.
Yeah, it
Oh,
doesn't.
yeah.
So my
Well, that-
question is, do they fit that category?
That means, I assume, that in their subcontracting, they will meet the requirement.
Oh, I see. Okay. But they perhaps are not, but they will see to it.
Correct.
Okay.
Can I have an introduction, please?
Calvin, I'll make an introduction.
A second.
I'll second. I'm the official seconder
Thank you,
tonight.
Jane. A roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay. The next is to pay for the MuniRes contract. Do I have an introduction?
I'll introduce it, Rebecca.
Rebecca? Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Tom.
Is that Malachi?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Abstain, same for the same reason as before.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay. The next resolution, please, Shaheen. This shouldn't require much conversation. It's accepting a grant from Mount Pleasant Reformed Church to the Hudson Youth Department of $100. Can I have an introduction?
Introduce Tom Malachi.
Malachi, a second, please.
I'll second.
Calvin. A roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay. I know this next resolution requires some conversation. Who would like to, let's get it introduced first. Do I have an introduction? What's it?
What's the name of it?
Oh, it's on requiring reports on traffic-related stop violation and arrest data to the Common Council.
And Tom, I'll be happy to introduce it if you'd like.
Okay, Jane, and do I have a second?
I'll second it, Rebecca.
Okay,
And Tom, I have some questions and comments I'd like to put forth if we're in the discussion phase.
sure, go ahead.
Okay. I would like to state that I support sort of the overarching premise here of greater transparency. I was a participant in the park conversations, and I think that out of that I gained an appreciation for the need of that change in our public safety governance. On this resolution, however, I've got two specific comments I'd like to make. And one of them is that it seems in the opening paragraph, it's kind of related to a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is not, to my knowledge, enacted. It's something we've requested from the state, but my understanding is it's not there. And if we're looking for transparency, I would say that we're looking for transparency, not predicated on a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. So while I think that the idea about the transparency is great, I don't quite get why it is linked to that 25-mile-an-hour or proposed 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, which, you know, is something that, as I said, we wish for.
I can answer that if I may.
Tiffany, may I just finish? Because I've got another point. Okay. And secondly, I think that it would probably be a good idea, and it's going to be my suggestion, that we take a deep breath on this, because I think that that it is very appropriate to call for greater transparency, but we're right on the cusp of Mayor Johnson making his recommendations on Friday. And I think that it would be sort of kind of respectful of that effort and kind of in the spirit of collaboration that we table this, or at least, and if not that, I don't mean table it like put it aside and forget about it, but perhaps, Tom, in your capacity as president, you could convene a committee that would discuss this further and have other conversations and have an opportunity for those of us on the council to weigh in and perhaps others, and that we revisit it. So where I'm ending is that we revisit this in February in the interest of deferring to Mayor Johnson's park or reform presentation on Friday. So those are my 2 points. Tiffany, sorry, you had a comment.
Yes, you know, I'm sure a lot of us was reached out to from people in the community that would like to see this resolution passed. And and one quick response for your question, Jane. The PARC, the group that is working with the mayor, this resolution doesn't really have anything to do with that. But just to bring it back, and with the conversations that I had with people that are in support of this resolution, wanted me to just remind you all about what happened in December with one of our local residents, Jareen Ahmed, who was racially profiled during a traffic stop when she was asked if she had a bomb in her car. Looking at Hudson at this incident back in 2017, we see that Black residents, Black and Brown, are over represented in traffic violations, comprising over 27% of violations in that category. And the risk of driving while Black is nationally known is a persistent trend of fear. And if we all remember Philando Castile that was stopped 52 times before he was fatally shot at a traffic stop in July of 2016. So I know that some of us may remember in support of the change of the 25 miles per hour, I had stated a comment, in support of the resolution, I had stated a comment like, we don't want to see this used as an excuse just to stop and pull over Black and Brown people in this city. So let's prevent this harm in Hudson by taking this proactive measures and work towards understanding the impact of a speed limit on change of police activity and the welfare of our neighbors. So I support this resolution. I vote yes, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Tom, may I respond, or is that okay?
Sure.
Tiffany, I agree with you on the whole premise of the frequency of stops and that kind of stuff. My objection, if you will, is that it's tied to a 25-mile speed limit, because I agree with everything you say, except so why are we hung up on the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit? Why don't we just demand the transparency on any traffic violation? It doesn't have to be 25 miles an hour. So
it can be for any traffic violation, yes, but with the history that we have seen, not only just throughout the country, but just at a traffic stop here in our city, of what we have on record of particularly Black and Brown people go through. So we want the police to do their job, and we want to ensure safety on the streets with pedestrians, but we don't want this to be an excuse for police to just particularly focus on Black and Brown people. For an example, in the second ward, a lot of people are concerned and they like to have communication with the police. Hello, how you doing? And some people are concerned when they're just sitting on the corner for hours. They're not communicating, they're just sitting there.
Okay.
So, you can have that understanding and feeling, when people of color go through these things, then there's that feeling. Why are they sitting there? Are they getting ready to bother me? What did I do? So we just want to have that into consideration.
I support this. I mean, I want to say something really quick, Rebecca, because I was trying to before. I don't think these two things are tied, Jane. I think the request for the speed limit's one thing. This is something that's internal for the city. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going ahead now and asking for a bit of transparency and requiring a report for us, because to Alderman Griega's points, I think they're correct. They're correct observations, and we should make sure that our police are following a transparent. And I know you support that. I'm just saying I don't think that the two are not tied here in my.
Right.
Oh, okay. I think that the 25 miles.
Rebecca, hold on, Rebecca.
You could just drop that and write it without that, and
No, there's no. I mean, it doesn't really change it that much. I mean, to take it out wouldn't really.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter.
It's really not. They're not. It sounds like they're conflated, but they're not really conflated. The state is going to give an opinion if we could do this or not, and this is for us just to say as we're doing it.
Correct.
we're gonna have standards here to make sure the police report on, in general, on traffic stops. And I think that's I think those are good
I
things to
think
have.
that's a good thing too. I would
Oh, sorry.
like to have them start tomorrow and not worry about a 25-mile speed limit.
It's not dependent on that. Rebecca, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just trying to say that, I mean, if what Jane is outlining as potentially a problem seems like a problem to anybody, it would be really easy to simply remove the first whereas and just have it be, you know, where just start from whereas nationwide racial profiling, et cetera.
Right, but to Jane's point, it's not that whereas clause. The rest of the resolution does not depend on that whereas clause.
I get that. I'm just saying that if there's an issue in anyone's mind with there being an untoward or just irrelevant relationship, or if you know, I mean, if there's any reason that the resolution might want to appear more less, you know, timely and more just general, then you could simply remove the first whereas.
Okay, Eileen wants to say something apparently.
Yes, yes, I'd just like to understand as a baseline, do we know what the percentages are roughly now? And what is it we're trying to aim at specifically?
I think generally, since we don't really know because they haven't been providing the data, this is a way to now create a baseline. So then we could see yearly or monthly what the traffic stops are and how they break down in the city. That's how I read this. So
yeah,
I feel it's actually fairly non-controversial because it supports a very true and necessary need for data on these points, I think.
Right, and that was my point. It's nice to start if we can with data points, but if we don't have it, we will shortly. We'll have some starting point.
Right.
Thank you.
So how do
Okay.
people feel about striking that first whereas? Because this is one of those occasions where Rebecca and I actually agree. That
Okay,
I don't know, that it's a language, it's a tweak, but I throw it out there.
okay.
Can I just,
Who's this
I'm
now?
sorry, can I just,
Sure,
it's
go ahead.
Dominic. So, I mean, I think to revisit this is a good idea. And I say that to see what's coming out on Friday and how we can tweak this because, you know, in spirit, there's some really good things here, but I don't know some of the mechanics to some of the things. So to be sensitive on how to approach this. So, you know, the police department is not insensitive on how they're going to approach some of this, because some of this says, you know, contact, it's not just traffic, it's contact. So, I mean, you know, in terms of how does this work in terms of the data, and also what data was utilized, because it says traffic data, what data was utilized to develop this resolution. So I think if we could, you know, convene you know, some kind of committee like Jane was saying, you know, so we do this, word it right, word it with also involvement with the police department. So we already know how the mechanics can work. You know, I just see some where it says gender, I see some issues where it's just written as gender, because it could be ambiguous in a way that could be insensitive to individuals. And I'm not sure how some individuals are going to handle this to be inquired on some of this information. So I think to convene a committee, wait till after parks, and then to write it in a wordage that's going to work for everyone.
I don't know if that's actually going to be that much of a hang up now. And if that becomes a problem for the police, then they could report that they're having an issue with that, and then we could tweak it as we go. I think from just a basic starting point, this is a pretty straightforward, non-complicated request of the police to provide data, period. And then if that does become an issue, Dominic, then we'll address it. But I think holding it up now, again, I think this is fairly non-controversial. I don't know why we're spending a lot of time on it.
With that said, I think we'll go for the roll call vote now, please, Sherry.
My hand is up.
Oh, sorry. I can't see it when this is here. Sorry, Trisha. Go ahead.
Well, my understanding is from this discussion, like it should be go to the legal committee. So far, we don't have any more committee. So this resolution can go to the attorney to look at a little more. If anything can hurting our citizens' freedom or anything, then can come back to our meeting. It's my idea. I'm just sharing it with you.
Okay. That being said, let's move along with the roll call vote, please.
I have my
Alderman
hand
Garriga.
up.
What's
Sorry.
that?
Dewan
I
has
have my
hand up.
hand up.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Dewan. Go ahead. I can't see the hands right now.
Why? What's wrong? You could see the hand?
I only see a couple people at once. It's not this. Once the resolution's up, I can't see everybody.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I support this resolution, and I totally agree with Tiffany what she said, and also I agree with Jane. And thing is, only concern is like the Dominic said about the gender. That's actually right, because if they ask for the gender and stuff like that, city might get a lawsuit for those. Now that's the question I'm thinking, and almost police are already doing a lot of them on this agenda. Just a couple of them. It's like I'm not totally agree with those. I think it's not legal. I think, but did Jeff looked at this?
Yeah, Jeff wrote it.
Oh, okay.
About the gender, wouldn't it be, I'm sorry, I feel like this is a really important question.
It is.
Wouldn't it be likely that the police would already be like, if they have that data already, it's not that for this purpose they would have to inquire of gender. Like they probably, if that's what everyone is worried about, they already record gender and other.
Or not, right?
Huh?
You're right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I don't see any hands up now, so let's have the roll call vote, please, Sherry.
Alderman Garriga.
Aye.
Halloran.
Eileen, you muted? You're muted.
I knocked myself off the call. Are we voting on this?
Yes.
You're up to me.
Yes.
I agree with the need to establish
Said aye.
data. Pardon me? I agree with the need for data to quantify some of the concerns expressed in this resolution. And for that reason, I say aye.
Lewis. I'm sorry, was that aye?
Yes, aye.
Thank you. Moranci.
As I said before, I think I would like to see what the park record, the committee comes for. I don't know if this is a little premature. That's in some of the wording of this, and I would like to have a little bit more conversation regarding this. So at this time, I'm going to say no at this time, as I do agree with the spirit, but the involvement, I would say I would need more. So no.
Alderman Mizan.
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal.
Aye.
Alderman Sarwar.
Aye.
Alderman Trombley.
With a reservation about the 25-mile-an-hour thing, I vote aye. I just don't like that wording.
Alderman Walker.
Yeah, I just think that Chief Moore probably wouldn't mind the extended transparency for this to take place. So, I think it's it's an aye for me.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay. The next resolution, far less debatable, I think. It's accepting a donation from, let's see, this is blocking my view here. Oh, from members. The senior center is accepting various donations from members, $700. Can I have an introduction, please?
Calvin, I'll introduce.
Calvin, the second, please.
I'll second it. Walker.
A roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Morante,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay, the next resolution. Shaheen, please. This are transfers within the senior center. Robin, are you there somewhere? Robin Waters was going to join us. Robin? While we're waiting, can I have an introduction?
Calvin, I'll introduce.
Calvin, can I have a second, please?
Walker.
Malachi, thank you. Let me get, she was gonna.
Maybe she got cut off. Is there another resolution and we can come back?
Robin, are you gonna join the meeting? Yeah. Oh, well, no, if you could join, it'd be helpful. Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Robin will be joining shortly. You heard the call. Maybe we should,
Do the second, next.
Table this.
yeah, where are we here? Let's go to the
Next.
next, let's go to 16, please. Well, it's not the, no, go to the one, assessment challenge. Where is this here? Senior center transfers. No, page, oh, no, that's not, huh,
16.
16, I don't see it here. It's just, senior center transfers. Assessment challenge.
I think it's on there.
Where is it? As I don't know if you know, but today was a very difficult day for the clerks. Only one was able to come into work. So Tracy and Sherry, I believe, were both working from home today. So it's been a little confusing. But I don't see this resolution.
No.
Even though it's in the, it's in mine. So we're gonna have to postpone it, I guess. Robin, are you with us yet? Let's see.
I don't even know why we're doing this, considering, but
Well, she wanted to explain what it was. Should we just go ahead and do it?
no, I think we
Yeah.
should table it, or we should get a much better explanation from her or from the office as to why we're doing this.
Okay. Robin, are you there? Robin? Eileen, you would know, is there a problem if this is delayed because it's a 2020 expense?
Because it's a 22, no, because it's not too late to do the bookkeeping to put it in the right year.
Okay.
I would
So,
suggest we wait a month to deal with it.
well, if Robin doesn't show up, we will. So let's move, Shaheem, to the,
I am here. I just,
oh, there you are.
sorry.
Okay. Are there questions from the council?
Yes, what is this spending and why didn't it come through the normal budgeting process and we're dealing with it now in this manner?
This is basically just to switch it from budget lines so that we can just pay some of our past bills that aren't necessarily personnel, but are like we had a cleaning cost for doing a thorough cleaning of the senior center, just things that aren't necessarily personnel but needed to be paid. What is there? Do you have a specific question, John?
Like, what are those other things?
They're wondering about what other is on the line, the bottom line.
It's just a combination of different things that came out of our budget. I mean, just they're
Like what?
Well, is the bottom line, is that just the addition of these lines?
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. So it's not. They're different classes that we had, different programs. It's just moving it to, and they're not new expenses or anything different than the senior center's ever done before. It's just a matter of doing
There is no specification.
programs instead of, I'm sorry, can you say it again?
There is no specification about like the other expense.
No, Sharsha, the
No,
other,
the other is total.
It's total, yeah.
So other is total.
essentially, this is a
Yeah.
bookkeeping situation. This is not.
It's like, it's from, the last one is 2, so it's total, yeah.
Yeah, it's just taking it from different accounts to
So
the
it
other
should
so
not
that,
be other, it should be total. Okay,
yeah, so
I
that,
got it.
yeah, so that regardless of the expense, it can come out of that line going forward. It's similar to how the 2021 budget is allocated, the request is. Where we have more money in the programs and less in the personnel, the same. It's just shifting it.
Okay. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Alderman Garriga,
Well, she said there aren't any new expenses and they're just taking the money from one spot and putting it in the next just to cover what they already have. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye. I didn't see what the big deal was, but aye.
Wolf,
I didn't either. Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye. Okay,
carried.
I do have now the resolution that was missing, was sent to me by Tracy. Let's see.
$16.
Shaheem, can I share the screen? Okay. Let me do that and then we can, yes, 16, whoever asked that. Huh. Okay, wait a second. Hold on one second, folks. I'll get this done right. I gotta download it. Oh, there it is. Okay. This is further expenses associated with the assessment challenges and labor issues. Can I have an introduction, please?
Calvin, I'll introduce.
A second, please.
Eileen, I'll second.
Thank you, Eileen. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Starwater,
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Okay. And the final resolution, Shaheem, you can take the screen for the bond resolution, please. Oh, look, there's everyone. Nope. There, promenade, yes. Okay. Keep going down. This, by the way, is authorizing, oh, once again, Heather is gonna join us shortly. If you can wait a second. And she will explain to us what this is all about. But to get us started, this is to start the promenade, to pay for, to bond the money we need to pay for the Promenade Hill DRI project. Because as you all know, these DRI projects are not, we were never sent a check up front. We have to reimburse, we have to be reimbursed on every expense. So this allows the city to bond this amount of money and then go and, as you can see, this resolution was created by our bond attorney. Heather, are you there now?
What's the total amount?
Shane, could you scroll? It's a lot of money. But as you know, the project.
$1,860,000. Oh, no, wait, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the maximum.
Oh, $1,415,000.
Yeah. And Heather, are you there? Yeah. She said she'd be joining us soon. Heather? Let's see, do we need, Jeff, this is, okay, keep scrolling, please, Shaheen. Okay, we'll need an introduction and a second in the meantime. Can I have an introduction, please?
Calvin, I'll introduce.
Calvin. A second, please.
I'll second.
Jane.
I mean, just to, obviously, the state, well, the state's committed to the DRI program. Is there any discussion in Albany about the current financial issues, if they're going to curtail any or try to curtail prior commitments? It sounds like they probably can't. I mean, since they award the money.
Exactly. That's Heather, are you with us? Yes, I agree with you, John. This is money that the state is obliged to pay to us, to pay back to us. So I don't think there's any chance that we won't get paid back. What? Somebody have something to say?
Yeah, well, I had a question. It's Jane. Is this the total amount? I thought that the project for Mount Promenade Hill was more than that. Is this like the
Nope.
first tranche of, this is it?
No, Promenade Hill is not much more than this.
Okay, that's what I didn't.
The other remember, the city projects in total are only about 6.5 million, but close to 4 of that is the Hudson Connects, the street, the.
Yeah. That's why I was remembering this was.
No, this is
I'm
the
mistaken.
second.
Okay.
Heather, are you there by any chance? There's somebody, no?
Did you call her?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Okay. I think if there's any questions, Heather's here now to answer. We've, anything beyond what we've already discussed. I mentioned that it's reimbursable money, and we just have to front it.
Yes, for the Promenade Hill Park, it's reimbursable. So that's part of the reason we're doing a short-term borrowing. I briefly heard the question from, I think it was Jane. So the Promenade Hill Park project was budgeted for a total of 1.815 million. 1.1 million of that is the DRI contribution. That leaves at least $715,000 balance. 175,000 of that is from the money that was set aside several years ago to build a ramp at Promenade Park, and the rest, which is about $540,000, is in-kind labor. But given the fact that, until we start the construction or the deconstruction, we won't know exactly what's going to happen. It's obvious that something could happen that we won't be able to do via in-kind labor if it requires, a certain level of expertise. So I included half of the in-kind money in the amount that we're bonding for.
I have a question.
Sure.
Tiffany.
Maybe Jeffrey Baker can answer this. With what Heather just mentioned, the money that is being used towards this bond is the money that was allocated for the ramp. I believe it was 168,000. That money was specifically for the ramp. Could that be used in this resolution? Or do we have to vote for that money to be a part of this resolution?
Jeffrey, if you don't mind, I'll answer that.
Please do.
Tiffany, that money is specifically being used toward this project. That's going to be the city's cash contribution. And because it still creates the same effect, which is to provide accessibility.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's my whole point. If the money, you're saying the money is being used towards the project, that's the entire park project. But that 168,000 was voted on, specifically allocated for the ramp. And yes, the ramp is in the park, which would hence be a part of the project. So I'm just asking, because we voted specifically that money could not be touched, only for the ramp. So my question, that's why I asked the attorney, is do we have to vote for that money to be a part of this project? Because it's not stating in this resolution that I don't see, and if it is, please highlight it for me. It doesn't state that money of 168,000 that's a part of this project is going towards the ramp. It's just, as you said, the project. And that allocated money is not towards a project, it's towards the ramp.
Understood. Good question. It probably would not hurt to make sure that the council agrees that money gets applied toward this. I mean,
that's my issue, because for many years before I even served on the city council, people the people have been wanting this ramp. And I don't want to say, well, they're using the money towards the project. Well, what about the ramp? Well, yeah, it's gonna be towards the ramp, and then they see construction and the ramp isn't there, or some issues happen and they can't do the ramp, but the money's already spent and there's no ramp. Because that happened before, before the money was voted on, just so give the council some background. Before that money was specifically allocated for the ramp, it was supposed to be behind the building of the chambers, and then they found that it was some wiring underground that they couldn't do the ramp. So just to make sure that that nothing wasn't going to be taken away from the people, especially people with disabilities that want to see the river just like everyone else gets to enjoy it, that money is specifically for the ramp. So that's my position. I want to make sure that, yeah, we can say we're supporting the project. If that is the case, then please remove the 168,000 so we know and ensure to the people that that money is still there for them, for that ramp, and not towards a project hoping a ramp is there.
Tiffany, I think the problem is the project is absolutely dependent on being ADA accessible, including a ramp. It
But
can't-
let-
it
I
can't
hear that, but it's not written in this resolution.
Wait a minute,
It's just
I
saying
think
for
it
the
is.
project.
Maybe I can provide some clarification.
Go ahead, Jeff.
In section 1, the project is defined includes the ramp as defined. And Heather, correct me if
Can
I'm
you roll
wrong
it
on
down to
this.
section 1, please?
Section 1, second line.
Thank you. Okay.
With a total cost of 1.86 million. You're gonna bond 1.415 million. I think what Heather is saying, and I think what you're saying, Tiffany, is don't hold me to the number, the 168,000 you've allocated for the ramp is your local contribution that fills up part of that delta between 1.4 million and 1.8 million. Is that right,
Okay.
Heather?
I don't, where does it say the ramp? I don't see that.
Has it in the
It says path, including replacement of out-of-code stairs, path, and ramp for providing access to park amenities.
Yeah, Tiffany, the whole project, I mean, yes, it's a bigger project because there's other elements about the park, but the entire project is based on making Promenade Park ADA accessible. Both of the plans that were presented to the council for approval had ADA accessibility all the way from the base up to the park. So there's no way that this project is going to proceed without making sure that there's ADA accessibility for everyone to be able to get to the top of the park. That is one of the sole purposes of the project.
And that's and that's for the record.
That is for the record.
Thank you. I just want to ensure to not just the people in the second ward, but throughout the city, that they will have a ramp and not just the project.
Okay,
I think there is no project without the ramp.
correct. With
Well,
that,
that's what I want to ensure. Thank you.
you have. Thank you. Roll call vote, please, Sherry.
Alderman Garriga,
Aye.
Halloran,
Aye.
Lewis, Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan,
Aye.
Rosenthal,
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
President DiPietro,
Aye.
carried.
Thank you, Sherry. As you know, there's a proposed local law amending the city charter to provide for additional paid sick leave due to COVID. At this stage, I just need an introduction and a second to lay it on our desks. Do I have an introduction?
I'll introduce.
Thank you, Jane. Do I have a second, please?
Second, Calvin.
Calvin. Thank you, Calvin. Okay, that finishes the, that part of the meeting. One thing, by the way, if you've made a motion or a second, please go in and sign tomorrow. Couple things for the next meeting, the informal, given the new way things are going to operate. I want council members to keep these projects in mind because we're going to have ad hoc committees on a number of them. In the legislative area, we'll of course be talking about sidewalks and inclusionary zoning. In terms of city properties, we're going to discuss selling some real estate, long overdue. We will also put together a group to further explore the NIPA lighting project, which, as Eileen knows from the past, is sitting on a desk and needs to be furthered. I'd also like to see a project or a group get together to work on the solar farm idea. We also need at some point to work out a plan for the docks, a rental plan with an RFP for someone to manage the docks. And two other things to think about. We'll be shortly having to issue an RFP to reassess our insurance. I'll probably let Michael Chimides lead that, that group. And lastly, we're trying to help along the city, but it will ultimately be a mayoral decision. We need an HR department, and we should probably start letting that idea develop with another ad hoc committee. So if you're a council member, review some of those ideas, think of which ones you'd like to be involved with, and we'll talk about that and set that up at the informal meeting next month. That being said, council members, any new business that you'd like to bring up? I can now see hands if you want to put up your hand.
Hello.
Oh, Malachi, go ahead.
How you doing? I just wanted to touch base on the lines for the streets.
What?
You know, the lines for parking. I know that's really been a big issue for the city, apparently all over the city. But you know, I was expressing, and I brought up before about you know, there's been actual fights on my street alone about you know, the parking, and I just wanted to see if we can, you know, come together with some kind of solution for that.
Well, that's going to be the subject partly of the parking study, where I think that'll, you know, get a hearing, a wide hearing from a number of people. But you're certainly welcome to be part of that conversation, and I will put that on the list.
Thank you.
Council members, Jane.
Okay, so I just wanted to echo Malachi's concern about parking. I'm looking at it from a slightly different kind of a 30,000-foot view, is the sort of a comprehensive look at alternate side street parking and the rules and inconsistencies around the current policies.
Thank you, Jane. Anybody else on the council?
Second that with Jane, given the recent comments from our DPW chief that seemed to show a level of inconsistency.
Is Michael? I don't see him, but you know, when we know further what's happening with the parking study, we can develop something along those lines easily to coincide.
Oh, Tom, I've got one
Yes,
more.
sure.
I don't know if it's appropriate now or, you know.
Go ahead.
Right, but I think we should have an ongoing sort of overview of assessment of buildings. There continues to be a lot of development, sales. I think that we don't want to fall into a situation we were in a couple of years ago where the assessment had gone on, you know, unattended for years and years. So I'd like to understand how an ongoing assessment program works.
Yes, I've been meaning to invite our assessor to one of our informal meetings to begin that conversation. So I will do that. Cheryl Kozluga. Okay, anybody else in the council?
Tom, are you
Oh,
just
Rebecca.
whether we have agenda items that we'd like to put forward for the new year, or what's?
Well, I mean, these are, yes. If you want to do that for the next meeting, yeah, definitely. Or send them to me in the, by email.
Okay, thanks.
And then we'll start divvying them out to people who want to pursue them.
Okay.
Okay, since the council seems to be done, Ron Kupnicki.
Matt is going to make a statement.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Matt McGee. I'm a citizen of Hudson. The covenant with the people of Hudson to support the Constitution of the United States, made by our alderman, was broken last Monday, January 11th, when the powers of the ward alderman were abridged in favor of the alderman at large by elimination of council committees and funneling of motions through the alderman at large as council chair. Adherence to Robert's Rules of Order were referred to, but the duties to the Constitution was neglected. This handing over power is a clear violation of Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, which guarantees the right to representative government. Given the events of January 6th, just days before this latest action, which is a clear danger to local democracy, this might at least have been discussed. This did not happen. The limiting and disallowing of public participation is also very troubling and brings up questions relating to our First Right Amendment rights. This breach of the Constitution and public trust needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be rescinded or as being of no force, acknowledged as being of no force. I'm really perturbed and angry that this kind of thing is happening on our local level. It's enough to have it on the federal level. I think this should be fixed and this should not be repeated. This is the second occurrence of this violation of Article 4, Section 4. That time it was corrected, and this time it needs to be corrected. Thank you.
Welcome. Well.
John Kane is attending.
Okay, John Kane is next.
Just a couple of quick questions. As you guys are looking for an HR solution for the city, are you looking to hire an HR department or are you looking to create an HR solution? Because there are a number of companies, I'm sure in New York that help medium-sized enterprises and presumably some municipalities that are Hudson size with HR support that is not a full-time HR person. They are expensive.
Yeah, we know that. Thank you. We are, that's what we're putting this ad hoc committee together together to explore.
Right, it's just that when you said it, you only said an HR department. You weren't talking about an HR solution.
A
So I was wondering
solution,
if there was some, sorry, I was wondering if there was some legal barrier to a municipality outsourcing its HR.
No, none whatsoever.
Okay. My other question concerns the police reporting resolution. I didn't see that on the informal agenda from last week. Is that a carryover from the legal committee? Or was that introduced tonight?
It was it was introduced last week in a slightly different version. Jeff Baker worked on it between then and now.
Who is, besides Jeff Baker, who was the author of that?
That's,
I mean, presumably Jeff Baker didn't create it out of the ether, right? It was under the instruction of someone.
Jeff, is that like even
I
relevant?
don't think it's terribly relevant, Tom. I think you're the one who developed it and you provided it to me and I just, cleaned it up a bit.
Okay, I just wanted to know under whose guidance that was authored.
Came from the president.
Was anyone in touch with the police department to talk about the mechanics of creating that report, or what kind of information could be provided? Maybe what extra information could be provided? Was anyone in touch with the police department
Not that I know of.
about this report?
No.
Yeah, about a data collection issue, John? I mean, what are we getting at here? We're just asking them for information that they presumably
I'm
already
getting that
collect.
crafting a resolution, it seems like it makes sense to contact at least the police chief to talk about what that report might look like, the feel of it, what kind of information should be gathered, what information is best gathered. I mean, that seems like a pretty simple process. And I'm surprised nobody did it.
I don't think that the resolution is overly definitive of what the report, like how the report will.
Gives the police exactly to Rebecca's point.
Nobody picked up the phone and called the police chief. We
Okay,
get right
John,
into
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I kind of wish that the council members who helped make this decision about committees would perhaps jump in here and.
Look, I mean, yeah, to the overall issue about constitutionality and all this, I can understand why people feel upset, but I would also say that this is the classic committee system that we had. Often meetings were under-attended, and in the spirit of trying something new, we're opening the whole workload up to the entire council in this way. And also expanding that process to the public, in my opinion, in these informal meetings will be much more potentially inclusive of public comment. And for that matter, as the Common Council President just indicated, there will be ad hoc new types of standing working committees created per project, which the public will, if those meetings have to constitute public meetings, and the public will attend those as well. And our committee system operated, and a lot of the things that we do here as a community came from when we had a much larger population. We have a much smaller population now. It's rapidly declining, and we should continue. We should think about doing things in a different manner to reflect the size. Although we do have serious pressing needs that we're all aware about. So, I hear and appreciate people's complaints about constitutionality, but it's very much within the rights of the council to define how we do our business. And whether or not this ends up being a success or a failure is going to be based upon the next few months as we see how it carries forward. But certainly an experiment in the spirit of experimentation, I think this is a very good thing. I think it will potentially bear a lot of fruit and will ensure that we're all doing and sharing the work here as the council and involved in issues across the board.
And Tom, this is Eileen. I'd like to add that I think it'll give us kind of a fresh look at some of the things we've had in various committees for a long time. And after a while, the committee meetings kind of get to be wash, rinse, and repeat. So I think it could, charge us up a little bit and begin to look at things a little bit differently.
Thank you, Eileen.
I'd like to add that, 2 points. That number one, as John mentioned, I think that the Common Council president predicated this whole change when he presented it last week, is that this is an experiment. This is not the law of the land forever and a day. This is something we're trying. So if it turns out that it isn't an efficient way of operating, isn't an efficient way of governing, we can determine that we can change course.
And also I'll add that.
I have a comment as well.
Okay,
Oh, one at a time.
Want to make a second point because it's really the more important one, is that this makes our work very legislatively driven. It isn't driven by kind of like what's in front of a committee. I cited 3 or 4 things that are of legislative importance and that can be quality of life and otherwise importance. And they might not have surfaced in the old committee. I'm not sure that there was a way of, exploring HR or exploring parking in the meeting in the structure that we had before. So by having things that are sort of driven by a legislative force rather than just a same old committee force, I think is a refreshing, and as Eileen cited, people are very energizing.
Quickly, I'll just add something really quick. Communities of our size often do not have the same committee structure that they have in their legislative bodies. It's not a de facto. The committee system is not something that we have to have, and it's not something that's sacrosanct across every community across the entire state. So, with a population of 6,000 plus people, we're much akin to a village. And if we have a cumbersome committee system that's not producing results that we feel is effective, I think we should experiment, and the Common Council president saw to see that fit. So here we are. And Alderwoman Green wanted to say something.
Not only that, it gives everyone on the council the same responsibility. Usually when there's an issue that comes up in a certain committee, if there's not a clear understanding, that particular issue or resolution gets pushed around from different committees, and then it may get lost or not even talked about or looked at or voted on. So it gives everyone a chance to bring things to the table. And not everyone on the council has that opportunity to attend every other committee. And not everyone on the council has the time or the chance to read the minutes from every committee. So it gives all of us that opportunity to bring forth what our constituents have on the issues that they have, and we can work as a council together to bring these issues to resolvement.
Furthermore, also having the department chair heads have to address the entire council plus the full public means that they're going to be accountable to a wider audience now. So whereas previously certain department heads had the ability to sit in a committee meeting and sort of discuss and run the committee meeting in that regard, that sort of changes that dynamic now, and that they'll be giving a report to the full council and thereby the full public in the informal meeting.
I want to get Jeff in here because I think I resent the fact that we're being accused of being unconstitutional here, and I hope Jeff could
The ridiculous complaint.
either answer that now or perhaps come up with some kind of memo explaining how.
I'm not wasting my time doing a memo on something like this. As we're talking, I was looking for my copy of the Constitution, and I didn't get my hands on it right away. There is nothing unconstitutional.
There's nothing in section 4 that.
No, it doesn't apply down to the states to that kind of
elected
level.
officials, that's all it
You
is.
are bound by your charter. You're bound by the open meetings law.
Chairman.
You're fully.
Hold on
you're
a
fully-
second, Ron.
Yes,
you're fully
I
within
will.
your
I
rights
would like
do
to
this.
speak.
You will get the chance to speak. Rebecca.
I just wanted to get clarification of what the complaint really is about the change, which my understanding was that the complaint really is that because the committees are not meeting, there's basically a reduction in the opportunity for citizens to participate in meetings. I'm not sure whether it's true or not, but I just want to make sure that I understand the complaint, the basic.
Okay. Well, I'll give them the floor once more. And there are 2 people from the public who want to talk. Ron?
Yes. First of all, that is indeed part of the complaint. I would also like to say I wish this discussion had occurred at your organizational meeting last week before
No, this is not for public debate.
Well, I beg your pardon. And
No.
as far as the charter is,
No.
am I now allowed to speak or am I not, sir?
At the
You're allowed
discretion of
to
the
speak, but you have to stay within the boundaries.
Well, I'm staying within the boundaries. I would like to ask Mr. Baker to cite a place in the city charter which gives the council president the power to suppress committees. And I would like to make a further point. I would like to make 3 brief points.
I would answer that there's nothing in the city charter that requires committees.
The charter seems to presuppose committees when it gives the chair of the council the power to appoint them. And it's been pointed out, at least on by Gossips of Rivertown, the committees have been a part of Hudson governance for a very, very long time. So they're established by tradition and precedent.
Okay.
Now I want to go on and make 3 brief points. I think contrary to what Mr. Rosenthal said, this goes beyond a mere matter of parliamentary procedure. As I said, it eliminates something that's been an aspect of Hudson governance, according to Gossips of Rivertown, for 150 years. Second, it changes the balance between the alderman representing the wards and the council president, exalting the power of the council president. We now are hearing a great deal about the council president's discretion. Sole discretion, I believe, was the phrase that was used. And third, it does eliminate the ability of the public to comment at what had been this stage in the process of developing resolutions and legislation. And there's a further concern, which was also touched on in Gossips of Rivertown, about shifting various reports, etc., into the informal meeting, which has now become a catch-all, likely to last much longer than in the past, especially if a report or a presentation is included, as was last week by Arterial. The meeting goes on for a long time. Finally, the public gets a chance to speak. Everyone's tired, everyone wants to go home, and the public may well be told, make it short. And the public is being reminded that, we speak at the discretion of the council president. I think this has created a greater imbalance in the government of Hudson. I think it's an issue that requires more discussion. The council discussed it tonight. They should have discussed it last week. I hope there's more discussion of the issue, if not by the council and by the public. And finally, I'm just going to conclude by saying there will be an election in the fall, and along with a lot of other important issues, if offices are being contested, I hope this issue of the change in the operation of the council is one of the issues. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Bill Houston had his hand raised.
I don't think he heard you.
Hello.
There you go.
Okay, how much time do I have to speak?
Just go ahead. 2 or 3 questions or comments.
Okay, well, someone just spoke prior to me for about 4 minutes, so I'm going to assume that I have the equal amount of time that he did. I'm wondering what so I'm trying to understand where the department head officials stand. Will they be at the meetings in the future? Why aren't they here tonight?
They'll be at the informal meetings.
Every month they're required to be?
I've asked them all to be, yes.
You've asked them all. They're not required to be at the meetings. Is that correct? They're not required.
They weren't required to be at the meetings they've previously come to, but they do agree to come.
Thank you for the answer. Okay, so my complaint goes along with the previous speaker that this is a terrible precedent to start, where department heads are really not accountable to what they're doing in front of the public.
Wait a
second.
At least
I'm talking, Tom. Thank you for my 4 minutes. For example, tonight I heard 2 questions related to DPW expenditures that you, the council, were voting on. And yes, Eileen, in her infinite wisdom, was able to answer the questions. But what if Eileen wasn't here tonight? Somebody asking, what's the pump station? I think it was somebody asked that. Well, if Eileen's not here, I'm hoping that Rob is going to be able to answer that question. That's all I'm saying. Because at the department meetings, he was always there and he had to answer the questions.
Okay.
Now,
That'll be
yeah,
the case.
I don't understand how it benefits the city to not have meetings where the public is involved and it's centrally, it's the department, not just a general council with all the department heads and all these people. I don't see how it benefits the city, and I wish that it hadn't happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just to speak to that, this will not limit public participation in any shape, manner, or form. Public participation has always been at the discretion of the chair of the meetings. So nothing will change. And having all the department heads at a single meeting doesn't mean they'll all be speaking at the same time. After each department head, there'll be opportunities to question and ask questions. To question the department heads. So nothing in substance has changed here. And beyond that, would anyone else like to comment or speak?
I just want to encourage the public who are truly concerned that this is some sort of unconstitutional tyrannical power grab to look at other communities in New York State and see the various ways to which their legislative bodies conduct the business of making legislation and working on projects that are essential to the public, because there are a variety of ways in which these things are done, and experimentation should be encouraged, I think, rather than discouraged. And we shouldn't just always reflexively turn back to tradition as something to stifle innovation. So in the spirit of experimentation, I'm all for this.
Can either one of you gentlemen tell me that, is Rob Perry going to give a 20-minute presentation, report, excuse me, as he's done at all department head meetings that he has attended?
Bill, I expect Rob to have to do what he's done at every committee meeting prior. And here's an opportunity for you and to get other people who are concerned about the operation of that department at informal meetings to then follow up as you always do.
Is the answer to my question yes? He will be giving a 20-minute report every.
I don't know. It will be his report like he does.
Yes, no, or you don't know.
He will give a report like he does in the committee, which takes up what, 30, 35 minutes of the committee time?
20 to 30 minutes, yes.
Yeah, so he'll be doing something, I imagine, along those lines.
And the police department will be doing a report?
Correct.
And all the other committees, youth department will be doing a report?
Youth department and treasurer.
Okay, so we've had a 2-hour meeting here tonight, and it'll be a 3-hour meeting if all the reports are done?
Possibly.
Thank you.
John Kane would like to speak.
Just a quick follow-up. First of all, John, to your comment that most municipalities our size don't have this many meetings. I mean, we are a city. Most municipalities our size are villages.
That wasn't an exact point, John, but
sorry, please don't interrupt me. Thank you. We do have a different governance system. We have different operations, and there are different requirements. So we do have a different structure of governments than municipalities our size. Second, I'm certainly not opposed to experimentation. And actually, I welcome it. I do think that our committee structures were probably a little bit outdated and could have used some sprucing up. There could have been a longer and more open discussion about the best path forward rather than top-down decision-making, which is going to, at least for the next few months, affect the governance of our city and the legislation that is passed. Possibly longer. And I think that a more open discussion about those changes would have led to better results.
Still an operation of the council's discretion.
And we have, this resolution had full support from the entire council. This is something that new that we're trying. I know that sometimes change brings fear, but this is.
Tiffany, do not condescend to me. This is not about change bringing fear. This is
Well,
about
don't yell at me. I'm not condescending you. I'm making my comment, John.
Okay. Moving right along. Is there any other challenges to our constitutionality and other topics? With that, I hope this does work out. If not, as we said from the beginning, it is not set in stone. But we'll see.
How are we going to know when it's not working out?
That's a good question, Bill.
Aha, you haven't thought of that, have you, Tom?
I have very much. When nothing gets done, that's how. And people feel they're not getting the opportunity to speak enough.
And by then, it's too late, isn't it?
No, not really. It's never too late. Okay, enough of that. Anyone else in the public like to speak? Comment? Okay, with that. Gee, I don't want to be accused of not letting people speak here. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
So funny. Har, har, har.
Calvin, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed on the council? With that, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all, and we'll see you next meeting.
Night, everybody.
Bye,
Night,
Malachi.
everyone.